Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. My name is Cindy. So just a couple of things. First of all, the glare. Some people like it, some people hate it. The reality is this is where I'm sitting to do my cards. And I'm in Alberta. We have amazing sun. And there's very few places actually that I can get to in this house where there isn't going to be some sort of open window or sun coming in. So there's that. Secondly, I'm going to be it's Sunday afternoon. You're going to be seeing this recording on the 29th. Today I am going to be recording the videos for both the 29th and the 31st of March. And happy end of March. Wow, let's just move on from the month of March. This has been a hard one. The reason I'm doing that is I'm having some really significant dental work done on the 30th. So you're going to see the videos I do now over the course of this coming week. And next week is still, frankly, up in the air. I'm not sure how I'm going to be feeling. And so we'll see. You may see me. You may see my hands. You may not see me at all. But just so you've got a heads up, that's what's going on. So in fact, for the next two videos, I kind of want to do almost like some quick readings. Today, I'm going to do the 3 Bs. So who are the 3 Bs? Well, we're going to start with Steve Bannon. And I have to tell you, I have no actual idea why I'm being prompted to do a reading on him, but so be it. I'm going to look at Alvin Bragg, who has decided he is not going to pursue criminal charges against, I guess, the Trump businesses. Let's see how that goes for him, shall we? And I think I'm going to look at Joe Biden because, man, oh man, he's been a busy boy. He's been accomplishing a lot of stuff. So I want to take a look at him, frankly, see how he's doing, how he's holding up, etc. So thank you so much for being here. The new subscribers, the comments, the thumbs up, they're all brilliant. Oh, speaking of which, towards the end of this week and certainly into the following week, I will be reading the comments. It may take me a few days to get to them. Ditto emails, okay? So if you send me something, I'll get to it. It just may not be sort of as quickly as maybe you're used to or you expect. Okay, let's focus in on Steve Bannon. So he is trying to argue. Whoa, hold on. Got to find out what blue. You gotta love cards, okay? The Queen of Pentacles, or the King of Pentacles, so we all know who that is, right? The greedy wannabe king. And the Nine of Swords. Interesting. Makes me wonder if maybe being his buddy is perhaps a wee bit more stressful or is causing more anxiety or worry than good old Steve would like. So let's carry on and see what we get. So anyways, he's been charged with contempt of Congress. And he's trying to fight it by saying something about the fact that, his conversations with Trump around January 6th are covered by executive privilege, except he worked for the White House, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a little, I think most people think it's a pretty flimsy excuse, but of course, we'll see how that turns out. So let's take a look at Steve Bannon. He really tried to open up sort of a big right-wing movement in Europe. And what happened is that it didn't do so well because, first of all, a lot of the right-wing sort of political people that were running for various offices, et cetera, they lost. And he just never picked up the kind of momentum I think that he thought he was going to. Maybe by then people were kind of a little tired of his sort of brash, in your face, egocentric attitude. Come on down, I have a question. Okay. Tell me about Steve Bannon. Tell me about Steve Bannon. Tell me about Steve Bannon. All right. Well, this is the thing about him, right? A lot of us, honestly, I think a lot of us sort of maybe wrote him off as one of those kinds of extreme right wing kind of, crazy people. But you have to realize with him that he, first of all, he's not stupid. Um, Secondly, he's very sort of dedicated about what he does. I mean, he's working really hard at really trying to get this sort of movement, continuing to work hard to get this movement off the ground. He really, really does see himself as that person who is out to demolish sort of the institutions of the world, right? He's there, and he sees himself as a wrecking ball. And the reality is that, oops, sorry. The reality is that he's one of those people who does not want to listen to outside information. He has this philosophy, he has the way he thinks about things. Frankly, he looks in the mirror and he's like, yeah, you know what? You got it all going on. People back away from you. People sort of listen to you, maybe because he's so bombastic. I have friends in high places. I have money. Whatever it is, he really thinks he's got it all going on. And because of that, um, sometimes he doesn't see sort of maybe the writing on the wall, or he certainly doesn't feel that it's necessary for him to listen to perhaps suggestions or advice that he's being given. So right now he's doing his level best to sort of sail himself, if you will, out of rough waters. So I don't know when it was. It was, I'm sure, I don't know, a few months ago maybe, that they went to court to get the whole contempt of Congress charge thrown out, and it wasn't. And he came out of that courthouse and he was breathing fire and yelling and screaming about, you don't know what you have just brought down on yourself, and I'm taking you down. And it was nuts. But he didn't do anything after that. No, he didn't. And then I think the next time he went to court, he was trying to claim this ridiculous executive privilege deal. So he's a lot of talk. But when it comes right down to it, he really doesn't have a lot of action that he is able to sort of motivate, if you will, at this time, particularly around the law. Okay. Now I don't know if I don't know if he's in the country, if he can travel outside of the country. I don't think I've ever heard anything about his passport, but you can rest assured that he is being carefully watched, to some degree or another, because, he has influence in certain circles and he has resources. Yeah, this is a little bit of a heavy lift that he is doing on the, wannabe king's behalf. And it's going to be a bit of an arduous climb. It is sort of as if he really does not have um, a whole lot of energy on his side. I don't believe he has the law on his side. I think that what he's trying to claim is probably going to get laughed um, out of court. And he's going to just keep running it up the courts because that's what he does. Um, this is interesting, this Knight of Cups here, because, okay, maybe not so. So you have the devil here sitting on top of the Nine of Cups. So what this is telling me, again, so you've got the what is that? The Nine of Wands. So this is hard. This what he's going through is a bit of an uphill climb. He's still trying to make nicey with Trump, but make no mistake, in many ways, you know, Bannon's strategy in dealing with Trump is very much the same as the wannabe czars of Russia. Okay, there's a lot of wannabes in this world all of a sudden, man. Anyways, he sees him as a useful idiot, okay? He sees him as somebody who is so caught up in his own greed and his own ego and his own, and listen, come on, maybe Bannon can recognize that because, cut it out of the same cloth. But he sees him as a useful idiot because Trump doesn't have, well, he doesn't have a moral compass. He doesn't apparently have a lot of intelligence, in my humble opinion. But he doesn't have ideas he actually believes in, right? He just believes whoever the last person spoke to him. And so he's viewed as somebody who can be manipulated into sort of falling into line as long as you let him think it was his idea. And when you're dealing with people who are smart, that's not a hard thing to do. So, okay, so this is kind of the thing, right? Listen, one way or another, justice is coming for him. I think it's going to get him. He is going to expend resources, and his reputation, I think, in some way, is really, really going to suffer as a result of some of the shenanigans. He is reckless, okay? And he doesn't have any problems jumping off a high cliff if he thinks it's going to get him to victory. But I don't think it's going to. I think all it's going to do is kind of muddy the waters a little bit. This is the thing about Steve Bannon. He's all smoke and mirrors. Okay, that's all he is. He's all smoke and mirrors and big talk, and he yells and screams, and he gets in your face, and he does a lot of that kind of crazy stuff. But there's not really a tremendous amount of substance, in part, honestly, because he thinks that a lot of the people that he is attracting into his sort of philosophies or beliefs, he kind of views them as a little dumb, or maybe a lot dumb. And he thinks that they can be easily manipulated. Now, listen, I'm not going to argue about that because, he might be right. But in any case, so it looks like he's going to continue this uphill struggle of his. I don't really see it getting him kind of where he would like it to go. So that's what's going on with him. So it makes me wonder if I was sort of prompted. Just maybe he's going to be in the news in the next week or so. But anyways, that's kind of a bit of an update on Bannon. Let's move on to Alvin Braggs. So I got to tell you this. So Alvin Bragg, one of the things he actually doesn't do is brag. Okay, he is risk adverse, and he doesn't have guts. He doesn't have a backbone. He doesn't want his first big case to fall flat. But unfortunately, he's made a wrong choice. Not only in terms of, the DA's office, et cetera, people are quitting on him, people are releasing their letters of resignation, which are not at all flattering to him, but just historically, just in the grand scheme of things, this is going to be some mud on his shoe, or maybe some dog doo-doo on his shoe. He's not going to be able to scrape it all off, because people are going to look at him and they're going to wonder if, when it comes to the tough stuff, the hard stuff, if he's actually capable of, carrying it through. So before I ask this, I am going to pull out my pendulum, which I'm positive I brought somewhere. I think I brought somewhere. There it is. I want to pull out my pendulum, and I just want to ask sort of a straight question. So first of all, Okay, so here we go. So pendulum's ready to talk. Pendulum, is Alvin Bragg going to end up having to leave his current position? It's a pretty enthusiastic yes there. So, this is what strikes me is I wonder if there's not going to be a lot of pushback. And, I've said it before, I don't know why people can't protest more. I mean, there must be an email address or a phone number to his offices. It seemed to me that people might want to let him know what they think about some of his decisions and choices. Let's see. Let's see. Alvin Bragg trajectory, Alvin Bragg trajectory, Alvin Bragg trajectory. It is after Cy Vance, it must be very difficult to have somebody in that office who truly appears to be so weak, such a scaredy cat. Okay. I have to tell you, I know a lot of people have said he is compromised, he's being blackmailed. Um, I'm not so sure that I get that. And honestly, I'm not so sure that Trump has any dirt on him because um, if he did, frankly, if he did, he would have been spouting his mouth off about it. That's a man that can't keep a secret to save his soul. So I don't get that. Now, other readers do, and that's fine. They might be tapping into a slightly different vibration. I personally don't get it. What I get is that he's spineless. What I get is that he's weak. What I get is he was sort of trying to I don't know, almost like rein in the resources or, try to slow things down. And I don't understand why he would do that because all he has managed to do is he looks weak, he looks ineffectual, he looks like he's not particularly interested in the law or in justice. He just looks like somebody who kind of a little bit maybe gets off on just making unilateral decisions that antagonize people. He sees that as a strength, make no mistake. But I don't think he quite understands the magnitude of the pushback that is coming his way. He's not. No, it was almost as if he wasn't reading the situation um, correctly or clearly, or he underestimated how that reaction was sit, not even in the public, but within the office and the lawyers, and in a greater way within the lawyers and the judicial community of the United States. Um, so he now looks like foolish, and he looks spineless, and he looks like he just sort of wanted to push his weight around, and I don't think that's going to serve him very well. There is I almost never read the Three of Cups card as sort of a card of overindulgence, but that's actually how I'm reading this one. It feels like, in some ways, emotionally, he, um, I don't want to use the word erratic, but I kind of do. Because what's going to happen is he's going to keep on getting news or feedback or pushback that he doesn't like. And he's going to have trouble figuring out how to sort of sit with that because it feels like part of him almost wants to lash out and defend himself, but it's not going to work. The judgment coming down on him is going to be significant. And I know there's a lot going on with Ukraine, and so sometimes A lot of the other news is sort of getting shuffled around. So I'm not even sure how many people are kind of up to speed on what's been going on there. But judgment is coming for him, and it's not going to sit well. Oh my. So huge transformation or upheaval coming into his world because he sees things backwards. He sees things from the wrong angle. He viewed it in a way that was more about resources and time. Well, okay, that's part of it. The bigger part of it is he just doesn't have what it takes to persevere in this way. You know, in a crazy way, he sort of thought that this was going to be sort of his ticket, right? He thought that this was going to really be a jumping step or stone, whatever those, a leap from where he is now, kind of into higher and higher and more visible positions. But his thoughts were cloudy and muddy, and he wasn't understanding sort of what his role was supposed to be. And that was to move the criminal investigation forward, because now all we're faced with is a whole bunch of people saying there was absolutely all kinds of reasons to proceed with this, and now he didn't. He is going to face losses. There's going to be damage to his reputation, and there's just going to be ongoing sort of issues. He's going to be moving through a significant transformation, and frankly, it's like I said before, he is not going to be able to completely ever wash that away, and it's going to start accelerating. Okay, so it's kind of, for him, it looks like it's going to be bad news after sort of bad news for the next while. All right, let us move on to Joe Biden. So right now, as I'm recording this, people are all kind of still up in arms about the supposed gaffe of Joe Biden, saying, that whatever he said, Putin shouldn't remain as the leader of Russia. Okay, maybe that wasn't the most politically savvy thing, although gotta say, it's probably what 95% of the people are thinking. So I'm thinking that Fuhrer is probably going to just settle down. People like to get their knickers into a lot about a lot of stuff, but I don't know that it's actually going to do that much damage when weighed against all of the other really positive things he's doing. Certainly pulling NATO together and, keeping that forward momentum going is not a small task. And, let's face it, he didn't do it all by himself. There was other countries, and other NATO countries who were, recognizing the danger of what was going on in Russia, and they were, ready to sort of take some direction and move forward. And that is one of the things that he provided. That is one of the things that historically and traditionally the United States provides. So I got to say this. Hold on. I'm about to digress. Hang on a second. So there was a lot of talk about the general who was in charge of this war, and how he kind of vanished. He just disappeared a few days ago or a couple weeks ago, and nobody knew where he was. Nobody knew what happened. So the story that has now come out of, I believe, Russia, is that when he found out that 1 in every 10 of his military equipment, the tanks, the trucks, the whatever else, only 1 in 10 were actually workable. All of the rest, there were problems with, there were issues with, they could not go in and you know, kind of create that military strike, I think that everybody was expecting. So let me say this. So, okay, so, you know, there's all this, you keep hearing it, you know, one of the biggest, you know, armies on the earth. Russia is so powerful militarily. Well, I don't know how it can be powerful if 90% is junk and it's not working. In any case, the story that has come out is once he heard that, he committed suicide. I don't know if he did or he didn't, but it does strike me as being very convenient because, of course, he would have been the one that, you know, would have been on the warpath or had had that blast of energy coming at him from Putin, right? I mean, he would have been the one who took it. And I don't know. But I just think it's kind of, you know, you always got to be suspicious about convenient suicides. Just think. All right, let's take a look at Joe Biden. Come on back down. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right. One more shuffle and let's figure it out, shall we? I don't know if you heard recently, like it was just in the news, like on Sunday. Biden canceled $17 million of student loans. Canceled them. That $17 million that the students, you know, or the graduated students, I guess, of the United States are not going to have to pay back. Where's the press on that? Well, there is no press on that. And this is, you know, up I come. This is one of the things that you've got to start to understand about how Biden is getting things done. So there was the big rah, rah, rah and hoopla, and we're going to build back better, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And all of that got stalled. But you know what? There's such a phrases under the table, okay? And a lot of the stuff that he said he was doing is getting done. But it's getting done with a little piece in this bill and a little piece in that bill. And maybe it gets, you know, skinny down somewhere, but it gets plugged in somewhere else. In order to know that, you would actually really, really have to pay a lot of attention, in some ways almost to unbiased news, okay, where they're just simply reporting stuff without a lot of opinion. And of course, again, right now, what is going on in Eastern Europe is so horrendous and so devastating that it is, you know, a lot of attention, rightly so, is being paid. But I think as, you know, the midterms come along, don't be surprised if there's sort of all of these lists circulating about the stuff that actually got done. I also noticed that sometimes last week, one of the, I think he's a rep, was at some sort of event going on and on about the infrastructure bill. And one of the reporters said, "Why are you here celebrating the success of the infrastructure bill when you didn't vote for it?" So it's one thing to write a little article in the newspaper after the fact, but it was kind of cool that he just point blank got asked to his face. Come on down. Okay. Joe Biden trajectory, Joe Biden trajectory, Joe Biden trajectory. How is he doing? He's working hard. He's pushing back in ways that people don't know and don't see. It's an interesting thing about this guy. He actually really doesn't have a whole lot of energy for defending himself. He thinks it's silly. He's sort of one of those people, I think, who feels that he should be, judged on the merit. And while he is often sort of in that defensive posture, um, when it comes to, trying to get stuff done and moving through Congress, right now, where he's at, is he is using the resources and the power of the United States and the resources and the power of partnerships to get done what needs to get done. Again, the phrase of under the table comes to mind. So, what do we have here? We have stuff that Zelensky is asking for, and on the surface, it doesn't seem as if it is being approved or he is getting it. But I'm here to tell you that in a roundabout way, a lot of the stuff in terms of equipment that is being asked for by Ukraine is hot footing it on its way there. If it hasn't got there, it's on its way. So what's going on here is that this is it. Nobody wants to be, and frankly, nobody should be, the face that stands up and says, okay, Zelensky, we're going to give you everything you want and everything Putin's screaming about. And he's threatening nuclear energy and he's threatening chemical warfare. We're just going to stand up on a platform and say, sure, we're going to give it to you. That's not what's happening. What's going on is under blinded eyes, everything's moving forward. And maybe we're not supposed to see it. Maybe it's safer that way. Maybe it's safer for you and me. Maybe it's safer for Zelensky. Maybe it's safer for the people of Ukraine. He is dealing with issues that, honestly, in some ways, he just really kind of almost wishes they weren't on his plate, but he is not one to shirk his responsibility. So he is handling things the best way he can. He's taking advice from other people, he's taking guidance from other people, but he really does understand that in the broadest sense of the word, the buck stops with him. And so it does. He has a lot of inner strength. And Jill provides him with a great deal of support and sort of balance. It's a huge burden he's carrying, huge. But he has what it takes to continue to move through this. And so he will. Is the balance between the law and what is right and the resources that are needed. And again, these resources are not only about Ukraine. These resources are also about a $17 million student loan forgiveness. He's taking care of business. And yet there are still those who really, really want to, destroy him. That's okay. That's okay. When it comes right down to making a decision, I think he's still going to come out ahead. Let's just ask a couple of pendulum questions here, shall we? Okay, so first question is, does Joe Biden currently have the stamina to handle all of the stress he is under? That is a solid yes. Is Joe Biden still going to, is Joe Biden going to finish his first term of president? Yes, another really strong yes. As of right now, is a stronger majority of the Senate going to be delivered to Joe Biden on the midterms? Democrats have a stronger majority in the Senate. That is a yes. And is the House going to remain majority Democrat after the midterms? And that is also a yes. So even though right now things may look a little bit kind of wonky, he's going to be okay. He's going to come through it. It's going to be okay. All right. So there you go. I will see you on Thursday when that next video comes out. Until then, take care. Be well. We'll see you soon.